up, guys? Okay, we are doing war videos for Season 30. This is War 1. We're up against PBT. This is a pretty good alliance here. And we struggled last season. We squeaked into Masters, but it was probably our worst season that we had been pushing since probably Season 1, when that was the last time we finished in Platinum 1 or lower during a push season. Anyway. Okay, everybody knows we got the high ground global, which is, nobody's favorite. But we're going to go in here with Quake because I've got a few Quake fights here, a couple minis, and a thing in Section 1. I've got Human Torch. I'm going to need him for an Ebony Maw on node 22. Really strong placement with high ground. I'm just going to use Flame On and try to nuke him down before he can get me. And then we've got Mole Man. So this first fight, it's Thing. You guys know, how to Quake a Thing. I'm going to speed this fight up, but I'm boosting pretty heavily here. In fact, not sure why I'm showing you this, but it's going to be a theme throughout the season. So get used to it, buckle in. It's going to be a long season. Long season, poorly edited war videos brought to you by Ludden Taters. Exactly what you guys wanted, I'm sure. Anyway, okay, so heading in. Nope, we're not. We're going to go ahead and use an invulnerability boost because guess what? I've learned my lesson. War 1 of every season is the worst war. I am overboosting for every single fight just to make sure that, I am protected when I inevitably screw up. Alright, so in this fight, we are speeding this fight up. I'm not going to screw up here. I am running half suicides with the bleed only. This path does have heal block, but I still want that extra damage, so I'm totally comfortable, losing 20% of my health. Typically, I would lose 30% of my health, but I am running a point in Coagulate, so that reduces a little bit. Anyway, Thing down. Very, very easy fight with Quake. You could also use like Omega Red would be really strong there as well. Shang-Chi also, if you're She-Hulk, there are some counters. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right, here we have a Void. Now, I left 3 points. You guys can kind of see up on my profile. I left 3 points in my mastery tree open because I didn't want full suicides for the Thing fight because of the heal block. But I meant to place 3 points in Liquid Courage, knowing that Mole Man would immediately convert those into Monster Mass, get that extra attack. I totally space it. Also, you guys can see I'm totally noobing the hell out of this new boost organization system. So it's actually really nice. Somebody pointed out to me after I complained about this, but there you guys can see we have Common, War, Class, and Other. Those are different tabs. You can just cycle between tabs. Initially, I open up my boost and I'm like, what the hell? I have to go to the inventory screen just to throw on class boosts. Anyway. Again, I'm pretty nervous just about getting off to a good start this war, so I throw on some class skill boosts, and I'm not going to end up using a special in this fight, I don't think. And even if I do, I can't remember. The SP1 really, it really does nothing. No, I've got plenty of Mole Mass. There I'm just going to get popped because I want to. Alright, and he's down. That is just honestly a joke of a fight. Way overboosted. We've got Psycho taking care of that Nova. Very strong high ground defender, and that is really good placement. I'm not going to share who we use there because I have a feeling that placement is going to be problematic for a lot of alliances. But here I am just taking off all the suicides, but I'm giving myself as much attack as possible. That's why I've got 3 out of 3 in Glass Cannon. Because again, I'm going to be taking this Ebony Maw on node 22. With Torch and Flame On and an invulnerability boost, and I am just going to try to kill him before he can get to an L3 and start to degen the hell out of me. That is the plan. So here, like noob again, we're going back to our inventory so that we can throw on the class boosts. And we're going to use another invulnerability boost here for this fight. I knew this fight would be quick, whether I won or lost. And I wasn't really sure how it would go. This is a situation where, you know, we didn't see Maw placed here in the offseason, so we weren't able to test it on this specific placement. With Power Snack and with Mystic Dispersion, this is a really, really, really good placement for Maw. And I didn't want to send anybody else. If we're gonna die, if Torch ends up being a bad assignment here, then I need to be the one to suffer the consequences. So, all right. I am slow comboing him, as you guys can see, just to try to eke out a little tiny extra damage whenever I can. Alright, I do have guidance here, which is very helpful. I think also Mr. Fantastic pre-fights would be really a good idea. Alright, so here I'm like, you know what? Past the point of no return, I need to go for it. I throw my SP2. I go medium thinking, you know what? If I can just get a full combo in there, and he's got 10 Nova Flames, that's why I paused it there. But medium was a bad idea. I should have slow full 5-hit comboed him into my special. I didn't. I'm glad I used the invulnerability boost. And here you guys can see he dropped from 21% health to 3% just from the Nova Flames. And here you guys can see that degen is taking me for 1200 damage. Overall, with Nova Flames, plenty of health left. Not that big of a deal. So I definitely highly recommend Guidance. You have to have Flame on there. And I definitely highly recommend an invulnerability boost. And like I said, you know, I think that you can prevent an SP3 if you use the Mr. Fantastic pre-fights. Specifically Petrify and Suppression. But, you know, we got through it. And that's all that matters. War 1, if we get through without dying, that is a huge victory. All right. Black Widow is probably my least... In fact, Black Widow and Spider-Ham are probably my two least favorite defenders to have to fight. And here I've got them lined up. Initially, I had assigned this path to somebody else, but I overlooked one very small detail that could have, if RNG played a part, caused a death. So we had to correct that just to make sure that we're, you know, not leaving anything up to Kabam RNG. Especially in war, where it almost always favors the defenders. So anyway, fortunately I do have Mole Man here, and he's a very good counter. Probably one of the strongest counters for both of these fights. He's fully shock immune. He's got his counter punch thing, the unstoppable counter punch when he has a monster mass. But yeah, so the thing is, three of my last 5 deaths in Alliance War dating back to... dating 2 seasons ago, are to Black Widow. Last season I was having an awesome season. I was so excited. And in War 12 actually, my final defender of War 12 was a Black Widow, and I died twice with Mole Man. She would not throw a special, as you guys can see here. I got cornered. I ended up getting stun reflected. It was on node 53. And she SP2'd me. It happened in 2 straight fights. I was really upset, and I was like, fuck this game, basically. Alright, so, you guys saw I lost an indestructible from the heavy. Here, I'm trying to do the counter punch, and I'm like a millisecond too slow. There we go again. So I lose all 3 of my indestructibles. She's at 3 bars, and I'm like, alright, here we go again. This is just how it is. There's my 3rd indestructible. You guys can see that her second medium, the second hit of her medium, clipped me because I was too slow on counter punch. I think you can work out the timing if you just do multiple duels. I did 2 duels. I smoked her both times, and I was like, dude, I'm going to crush this. And I think I just got nervous. I was just a little bit late. Fortunately, I'm able to survive because I am hugely boosted. And we get her down, and as ugly as that looked, and as damaged as my Mole Man looks, we got through, so I don't care. Excuse me? Okay, now Spider-Ham. Now Spider-Ham, this fight should be very easy and very fast with Mole Man. Spider-Ham has one of the smallest health pools in the game. He will not be able to evade me. And typically what you would look out for is that little ham, that gray ham, Spider-Ham little icon underneath his health bar. That is his spider nonsense. When you reach a bar of power, it starts to build. And you can just unload your SP1 to stop that from building. When it gets to 5, I believe, then he can evade. And if he evades, he'll go unblockable. However, as long as I have fewer than 10 monster mass, he won't be able to evade me anyway. So I'm just going for it. Here I back off and I'm like, alright, I'm going to hit him with an SP1. Whoops, he totally dekes me. And I'm lucky that he didn't punish. He wouldn't have killed me, so it's not like a huge deal. But, yeah, I would have probably lost at least half of my health. But again, yeah, we get through that. Again, wasn't a perfect fight. And again, it doesn't matter. Alright, so my last 2 fights, these typically would be assigned to somebody else in our battle group. I'm not the best Quaker in our battle group. I think I'm probably I'm like the 3rd or 4th best Quaker in our battle group. But a couple of the other great Quakers have attackers that I don't have and that I assigned in this war, and we could not fit Quake on their team. It just didn't make sense. So it was up to me. So I'm going to be Quaking this Bishop. This is pretty good placement for Bishop. Basically, if he has a prowess, then if he holds block for half a second, he's going to convert a prowess into a regen, and then he's going to become unblockable because of the node. So it's good placement. He'll never have that opportunity against Quake, so I think that Quake is the best attacker option here. Red Hulk also is very, very good here. That's who we used in the season where the mini island had True Strike, and we couldn't use Quake. But yeah, there I did mess up. I made a mistake. He got me for a good combo there, and you guys can see he's pretty close to a bar of power. I just want to make sure that I don't make any more mistakes so that I can get through this fight without him getting to a bar of power. But fortunately, I do get through it. And again, 1 mistake plus suicides and those max boosts drops me down to 25%. Nearing the Assassin's Danger Zone, so I'm glad I was able to get that finished before I dropped under 18%. Alright, and then here we have America Chavez. I mean, any Quake fight on this node is very stressful because it is just relentless nonstop the entire time. It's stun immune, obviously, and it's got hazard shift. Red Hulk is a very good option here. You do have to play around her dimensions, and if you aren't familiar with those, then you can end up taking an unblockable SP2 and get one shot. Same thing with Torch, although with Torch you'd also have to play around the poison phase of hazard shift. And then Ghost is also a fine option. I wouldn't say she's a great option here, but you know, Ghost can get through it. Again, you just need to know how to play around her dimensions. Essentially, with her dimensions, if you're not using Quake, then you don't want to interrupt her heavy. And you can kind of influence the dimensions that she activates, but I'm just not as familiar with that or what the order is or anything like that. So a simple solution is Quake. She can be Quaked very easily if you're good at Quake. And there you guys can see I'm just making mistakes. One thing I did want to highlight in this fight, the reason I didn't speed this Quake fight up is you guys can see that she's got the power gain dimension active right now. Now typically when she activates that, she'll get a huge burst of power. But concussion can shut that off. So, so Quake is just really, in my opinion, the very best counter for this placement of America Chavez. And this is a pretty common placement. We saw her a lot 2 seasons ago when Quake was not an option on Mini Island. And yeah, so there again, she activates the power gain dimension, and she barely gets any power. I don't even know if she got any power there, but typically it would be a lot higher. There you guys can see, again, she activates negative zone, and she doesn't gain any power because of concussion. So as long as you feel comfortable quaking her, I had to do a few duels just to make sure that I got the animations correctly. And also, you guys can see that I did not play this fight perfectly. I took 4 total hits, and I made, quite a few mistakes. So as long as you are able to quake her, I think the Quake is going to get through her very easily. So send your best Quaker. And that is it for me. We get through this war, we being myself, I get through this war without dying, which is a huge achievement. And, you know, we did end up losing this war. PBT was amazing. Really, really impressive. BG1 only had 1 death, so I'm very proud of how we got started this season. That's it. Leave a like and a comment. I will see you in the next war video, guys.